Hello, hello, happy Friday. My name is KJ Hamus, and I'm so excited to be with you here on this beautiful Friday. Hopefully it's beautiful where you're at, and if it may be a little gloomy weather-wise, hopefully it's beautiful in the space that you're currently occupying. So with today's class, the goal is going to be to work on finding gratitude and acceptance in our bodies, in our hearts, in our minds, and really utilizing our breath as we move through each and every shape. Remember, yoga is so much more than a practice of the physical asanas that we make. Our breath and our meditation practice really help round out a full practice along with the yamas and the niyamas, which are the first two limbs of the yogic practice. So as we move through our journey today, reminding ourselves to show up and meet ourselves with compassion and start in a comfortable seated position or on your pillow underneath your knees as support. And sit cross applesauce. You can place blocks underneath your knees, even sitting up on a pillow or a blanket as well. All of these are really fabulous options. So really find what's going to be the most supportive with you. Find where you're going to be able to sit up nice and tall and feel your spine grow. Don't want to be holding yourself too much, but letting your spine grow so we can invite the breath in. As you start to find your comfortable seat, I will ring the bell to invite us into our practice. Beginning to orient yourself in space and time. The space being here and the time being now. Welcoming your breath in its natural rhythm. As you take one last moment to acknowledge external sounds, external stimuli, moving your senses internal. We take time at the top of our practice to honor the stewards of the land who come before us. Here in the Washington, D.C. area, I am on Anacostan and Piscataway land. And it is important that we honor and embrace the roots of yoga, reminding ourselves that yoga is an ancient practice that comes from the subcontinent of India. And we honor the first and earliest practitioners who codified the yogic practice of liberation and freedom. Placing your hands wherever you would like, whether that's on your legs, palms down, palms up, creating different energy circuits with your body. Let's take a moment here to be still, tuning in to your breath. And oftentimes as we tune into our breath, we tend to use this as a chance to start to control our breath, start to change our breath, make it bigger or more impressive. And I invite you tonight to let go of that notion. And do your best just to tune into your breath. Accept your breath with how it's showing up. Where is your breath moving in your body? Where does your breath start? Do you feel it circle around one particular area versus another? Does it get stuck in any one particular spot? Does it flow freely through another? How fast is your breath moving? You feel it moving rapidly? Is it moving in sync with your heartbeat? Is your breath moving slowly? Is it steady? Is it short? Is it long? Is it choppy? And as you start to develop your relationship with where your breath is at, begin to let go of this idea of needing to master or perfect anything, especially when it comes to your breath. You want to begin to be able to breathe fully and do so naturally. How does your breath feel in your body? Is it mechanical? Is it rigid? Is your breath shallow or heavy? Comfortable or uncomfortable? As you breathe, do you notice anything else traveling on your breath? Emotions or thoughts? Where do those things show up in your body? Taking time to name your feelings, your thoughts, even if it's just tonight, feeling or thought, locating it in your body. As you've started to settle into your breath, take a moment here to set your sankalpa, your intention for your practice. Repeating your sankalpa to yourself 3 times and then letting it go. Your breathing exercise comes from the Breathing Book by Donna Fair. It'll help us start to incorporate movement and breath in our body. So as you're ready, keeping the eyes closed or finding a soft point for your gaze, just let your hands gently rest on your lap. And on your inhale, feel your fingertips curl in toward each other as if you were making a light ball or squeezing a light ball. And then as you exhale, feel your fingertips, your hands and fingers straighten. Inhale, drawing fingertips toward the center of your palm, curling. Exhale, lengthen, flatten your hand. Do so gently and mindfully with the movement of your breath. On your next inhale, Straighten out your hands. And then as you exhale, feel your arms open up, palms face up. Inhale, feel your arms and hands turn back down towards your body. Exhale, opening up, external rotation. Gently on your inhale, feel the movement. Return, internal rotation. So moving between opening on your exhale and closing your arms. Notice it's just your arms. And moving slowly and steadily with your breath. Let the whole movement take the length of your breath. Feeling breathed in your body. The movement doesn't control the breath. The breath works more with the movement. On your next inhale, this time round your shoulders in as if you were coming into a seated cat pose, rounding back, draw chin in. And then as you exhale, let your arms open up, heart shines, gaze can come up. Bigger movement. Inhale, curl in. Exhale, opening up. So letting your whole body be involved here. Letting your back round. Taking a few more. Then on your next inhale, just feel your hands, your arms turn back in. We'll move our motion down from bigger to smaller. Exhale, just your arms, palms face up. Inhale, palms face down, arms turn in. And the next time your palms rest, exhale, lengthening the hands. Inhale, curling fingers in. Inhale. Exhale, lengthening out. Inhale, curl in. Exhale, lengthen, palms, fingertips out. One final time. And then as you let your hands return back to a natural position, just take a moment to pause. Check back in with your breath. Notice if anything's changed, how your breath is flowing in your body. And then as you're ready, if your eyes are closed, gently start to blink them open. And whether your eyes were in a soft gaze or closed, just take a moment to take in the space around you, reorienting yourself in your room. And then from here, whichever seat you're in, rolling over your shin, finding your way to a neutral tabletop shape, curling toes under, lifting hips, downward facing dog. Feet, hips width distance apart or wider. Let your hands be as wide as the mat if that finds space in your shoulders. Knees can naturally bend. Elbows can bend slightly. Try not to lock the joint. Keep the weight in your muscles. Invite in any movement that calls to you or embrace stillness. On your next inhale, looking between your hands, slowly walk your feet to meet your hands at the top of the mat as you find your forward fold. Letting blocks support you here as you need them, bending your knees as much as feels good in your body today. Moving from side to start if you'd like. And then gradually rocking back and forth on your feet. You might even lift heels and toes up as you take the backward and forward movement. Thinking about opening up the back side of your body, inviting more breath into your back as you feel belly and ribs expand. Once you've adjusted, return to your center of gravity. Thinking about bringing a bit more weight forward so you feel the hinge in your hips. If you're using your blocks, try not to grip onto your blocks for dear life. Gently just use them for support, feeling the connection with the blocks. So while your hands may not be on the earth, you're still drawing the ground closer to you, so you still have the support of the ground. Make a soft bend in your knees on your next inhale. Begin to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, letting your head be the very last thing to stack, and your knees being the very last thing to straighten. We'll move into Tadasana, mountain pose. So feet about hips width distance apart, finding a soft point for your gaze. One thing that we use our drishti for, our gaze, is to really help us draw our energy and focus in on the moment. So finding that spot, knowing it will change, but we'll move with it gradually, pausing for a moment, reconnecting with your breath. And even just in that little bit of movement, what have you noticed about your body? Are we able to accept our body in this moment? Working toward gratitude for ourselves. As you inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Gaze gently follows the thumbs, trying not to crank the neck back. And then as you exhale, hinge and fold forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Gaze goes about 6 inches in front of you, flat back. Hands can be on blocks. Hands can rest on shins. And then as you exhale, step your left foot back, dropping the knee. Inhale, lifting up, Anjaneyasana, uncurling back toes if you'd like. And then as you exhale, curl toes under, step back, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. As we move to start to open up the body, we're working to create more space for breath. We want to move with the breath. So notice as you move, are you moving with your breath? Are you moving ahead of your breath or behind your breath? Can we take thought out of the movement in some way so the breath can be our guide? Again, control and mindfulness are very different. On your next inhale, look between your hands, step your right foot forward, dropping back knee as you return to Anjaneyasana. And then as you exhale, left foot comes up to meet the right, in a forward fold. Root to rise, inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, reset, Tadasana, mountain pose. Moving on to our other side, inhale, reach up. As you exhale, hinge and fold, moving through a flat back if that's calling to you tonight. Inhale, lengthen, crown of the head reaches forward. As you exhale, step right foot back, drop right knee. Inhale, heart shines forward, Anjaneyasana. So our left foot is forward, back leg is straight, heart is shining. On your next exhale, curling toes under, lifting hips, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. On your next inhale, stepping left foot forward, dropping right knee, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, curl back toes under, right foot meets the left, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, look up, and then exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. We'll add on to that just slightly. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale to bow low. Inhale, lengthen, long spine. As you exhale, stepping left foot back, dropping left knee, Anjaneyasana. We'll pause here. So feeling length in your left hip flexor, working into your right hip joint. One thing that might feel nice to you is by scooching your right foot out just a little bit so you have a bit more space. Again, that's going to be a personal preference, so take what feels best for you. Using support of your blocks if you'd like, and if you don't have blocks, no worries. Fingertips are really wonderful, or creating 2 fists and placing those on the ground. From here, take a breath in, shine heart forward. Exhale, straighten right leg, come into a half split. Feeling the stretch along the back side of your leg. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, half split, moving back. Taking that a few more times with your own breath, find your own rhythm. On your next inhale, meeting an Anjaneyasana. And then as you exhale, curling back towards under, lifting hips, downward facing dog. Taking 3 of your own breaths here. Knowing you can always open your mouth to let some heat escape if you need. Or it might just feel nice. On your next inhale, step right foot forward, drop back knee, Anjaneyasana. As you exhale, left foot comes up to meet the right, forward fold. Reaching up, gaze will follow your thumbs. And exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Last time here, inhale, lift arms up. As you exhale, move, folding forward. Inhale, lengthen, long spine. This time, exhale, step right foot back, drop right knee. Moving into Anjaneyasana. We'll pause on curling back toes. Again, wiggling left foot out if you'd like. Breathing here. On your next exhale, straighten left leg, half split, pause. So again, feeling the stretch along the backside of the leg. You may not fully get into the hamstrings. You can always adjust your leg too, but maybe your calf is more tight. The body's going to indicate where it's going to need to be stretched, and we'll make adjustments accordingly. On your next inhale, draw yourself forward once again, Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, straightening left leg. Moving through this movement on your own breath, creating your own rhythm. Even closing the eyes if that feels good. Letting your gaze follow the movement of your leg. Next time you come forward on an inhale, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, curl toes under, lift hips, downward facing dog. So as you come into downward facing dog, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, does downward dog feel nourishing? Or coming into a child's pose or into a seated position feel more nourishing? If the answer is any of those, take that. So moving into a child's pose or into a kneeling seated position or something else, if that feels good for you and your body. So just because I'm leading the class doesn't mean I know what's going on with you today. Give yourself the authority to take what feels best. As you pause in whatever you need, tapping back in, checking in with your body, with your breath. How can you begin to accept your body, your breath, your mind in this moment? Are you able to find some gratitude for your body right now? On your next exhale, wherever you're at, we'll meet in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll step left foot forward, meeting in Anjaneyasana. And then as you exhale, right foot meets the left, forward fold. Root to rise, inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Pausing for a full 2 cycles of breath. Slow and steady. Feet hips width distance apart or big toes to touch, heels slightly apart. You want your knees pointed straight forward. We'll inhale back into a chair pose. So bringing your weight a bit more into your heels. Arms can lift, arms can come to your heart space. Toes press lightly onto the earth. Sit back as if you're sitting into a chair. Now adjust your upper body so we're not crunching in our low back. Find strength as you sit back. I'm going to turn forward
6 p.m.
so you can see the position. So you move into a twist. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bring right arm forward, left arm back. Gaze can be forward, gaze can be at your back hand. Sitting weight back into your heels. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, twist over to the right, left arm forward, right arm back. Let's move and flow in our chair. Inhale, lift. Exhale, light twist. Inhale, center. Exhale to twist. Keep moving here at your own pace. Next time you're in center, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bring your hands to your heart space. Lift left foot up. Finding a slight balance on your right leg. Toes can touch the earth. Hand can come to a wall. Hands can always come to your hips. Take a breath in. Start to lean forward. As you exhale, step left foot back. Finding a high lunge. Keeping this in your legs as best you can. Adjust your torso so we're not crunching the low back. So depending on the natural, straight up down might crunch your back and take it out of your legs. Whereas if finding a slight bend forward can keep the shape in our legs. Find your breath here. Remember, the shapes are just designed to help us sit for meditation and to create more space for our breath. Feet can be on two separate train tracks. Toes pointed forward. Press through your back heel. Inhale. As you exhale, we'll open up Warrior Two. So you may adjust your stance here a bit, lengthening out your feet, Arms are going to reach out nice and long. Gaze is going to come over lightly over your middle finger, our drishti. We're sending our breath, our energy that way. As you inhale, turn your palms up. Feel your shoulders move down your back. And as you exhale, keep shoulders where they're at. Flip palms down. Inhale, lift up, star pose, toes turn in. And then as you exhale, finding your squat. So move back and forth in your hips. Maybe you lift one heel off as you move. Breathing here. And then we'll pause on your next time through center. Working to distribute weight evenly in your feet. If your knees are bowing in a lot, maybe you turn the toes out a little bit more, widen your stance. You want to think about your external rotation. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. As you inhale, reach arms up, turn toes in. And then as you exhale, draw your hands to heart center. On your next inhale, we're going to step one foot over so we come into a chair pose on the side of our mat. Reaching arms up. Inhale. Exhale, twist to your left. Inhale. Exhale, twist to your right. I'm going to move forward. I'm touching my wall. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Last round. Inhale, come through center. Turn yourself to face the other direction on your mat. And as you exhale, bring your hands to your heart space. Start to lift right leg. Toes can touch. Hands can come to the wall. Breathing here. Stay low in your left leg as if you're sitting back in your chair. On your next inhale, start to lengthen torso forward. And then as you exhale, stepping right foot back. High lunge. This time in our high lunge, we're going to lengthen a little bit more in our spine, finding either arms up or even as you shine heart forward, finding arms back. Again, this is about the legs, so we can make adjustments in the upper body that are going to feel best for us. Press through your back heel. Pause here. Can we accept where our body is at in this moment? Can you accept where breath is at? And acceptance doesn't mean it's always a positive, perky experience. We're just starting to find a home in our body. And sometimes that's a lot easier than other times. So finding acceptance and a home in your body doesn't feel accessible right now. What would it take for that to happen? What would that look like? If your arms are behind you, inhale, reach your arms forward. And exhale, warrior two. Gaze out over your middle finger, lengthen your stance. As you inhale, turn palms up, feel shoulder blades and move down your back. And then on your exhale, flip palms down. Inhale, reach arms up, star pose. And then exhale, turn toes out, find your squat. Hands can be at heart center here. You can always cactus your arms. Maybe you bring your hands to your legs a little bit. Again, finding movement if it calls to you, or embracing stillness, or embracing movement. You can embrace both. Once you find your way back to center, lift up your right heel and then set it down. Lift up your left heel and set it down. Lift up both heels and set them down. I bring my feet in a little bit more. Lift up right heel, inhale. Exhale, set it down. Inhale, lift up left heel. Exhale, set it down. Inhale, lift up both heels, pause. Find the part of your body that's got the least amount of tension. Find your breath. If you come out of this shape early, take a moment, smile at yourself. Stay with both feet on the ground or come back into it, totally up to you. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale, lift up. Start pose. Exhale, draw your hands to center. Inhale, step your other foot to the other side of your mat. Chair pose. Breathing here. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, turn to face the top of your mat and fold forward. Pause here. Take a couple of deep breaths. Invite in movement, weight in your feet, and finding your connection with the earth through your feet, through your hands, through your blocks. And from here, we'll move into dangling pose, bending your knees if you'd like. Again, continuing to use blocks as support. Hands can reach for opposite elbows. Hands, if you're reaching for opposite elbows, you can also rest on the thighs, bending the knees and folding forward here. Dangling pose physically is going to help us open up the back side of the body and start to release the ligaments along the spine. So as we move into the yin portion of our practice, we're working to get into our fascia, our deep connective tissue, and the communication portals through our body. Fascia communicates, and it connects everything in our body. So the back side of our body, particularly our upper back, is the gateway to our heart. Our heart is the place of our self-acceptance or self-compassion. So we're opening up the energy channels along the back side of the body. We'll breathe here. We'll be here for about another 2 minutes total. So start to steady your breath. See if you can release your shoulders, not gripping your blocks, let your head hang. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Slowly root to rise, uncurling the spine, one vertebra at a time. Head being the very last thing to stack as we make our way into Tadasana, mountain pose. Taking that movement very slowly because we've just been folded forward for a little bit. And so we're readjusting how our blood moves in our body. If you come up too fast, that could really not be comfortable. It could give you a head rush and even put you back down on the floor. So pause for just a moment. Start to let things recenter. We'll take a vertical puddle pose. Puddle pose, as many of you may know, is generally taken on your back, your stomach, on your side, even the legs of the wall. It's just a place of extra stillness. And we're going to invite stillness in a standing shape, letting the energy reintegrate into our body, checking back in with our breath, and truly, ultimately, just pausing. From here, start to bring your feet as wide as the mat. Or if you're like me, I like to turn and do this next shape. the length of the mat. If you do that, just making sure you can see the computer. If you'd like, you can also just hear my voice. We'll move into a squat. So blocks are an awesome, awesome power tool to have here. You can stack your blocks one on top of the other. If you've got a stack of books, feel free to do that, or a stack of pillows. Go ahead and do that. You can have multiples of those things, just one, or none at all. And it's really up to you. One is not better than the other. So when we think about variations, variations are a way for us to meet ourselves where we're at in the moment. It's a form of self-care. So as you find your malasana, your yogi squat, taking what you need and breathing. Hands can connect with the earth, staying on fingertips. You can't really see that, so I'll scooch back. Here, nice. That's all right. Trust me, fingertips, even heart center, or hands can always rest on a block as well if you're not using them to sit on. Let's breathe here. We've got 2 minutes. Knowing too that this is your practice. So if your body invites you out of the shape early, answer that call. If taking movement during the shape, take it mindfully, asking yourself why movement is calling. Are you able to work toward embracing the discomfort that the shape brings? Or is it just too much emotionally, mentally, and even physically? And if it's the latter, we really want to make sure we're resourcing ourselves then. Always honoring where our body is at. As you continue to be here, just finding the part of your body that's got the least amount of tension, least amount of sensation, and drawing your focus there. Sending your breath to the parts that may need it the most. And then from here, as you're ready, bringing your hands down by your sides. Standing up if you'd like, or just coming right onto your seat as you move your tools off to the side. Keep your knees on up, and then just slowly rock your knees back and forth. Inviting some movement into your hips, into your body. And next time you're through center, pause. And let's bring the soles of the feet to touch in our butterfly pose. So from here, your feet can be really close into your body. Your legs, your feet can be farther away from your body in more of a diamond shape. Sitting up on a block or a blanket or a pillow can help you find your natural anterior tilt, so your forward tilt in your pelvis. And then begin to fold, letting your back round as it naturally wants to. Don't be afraid of a back rounding. It's good for the spine to round. It's good for the spine to straighten. We're working into all parts of the joint. You can bring knee blocks, pillow, blanket, books, whatever you've got underneath your knees if you'd like. You can use these tools, including your pillow, to place in between your feet if you like, resting your forearms here, your forehead. And again, this tool can always come in front of your feet or behind your feet. So we'll settle in here with whatever shape you are taking. So finding gentleness, finding softness in your variation. Letting your breath become effortless. So feeling as if you're being breathed. Settling in here. We're going to be in this shape for a total of 5 minutes. And so we want to ease into the shape with the entire length of the time. You don't need to go full hog, like right from the beginning. Okay? And there's no fullest variation of the shape. There's no end goal to reach with this shape. There's nothing to accomplish. You don't need to master anything. What you're doing is finding a place where you can feel gentle release in your body, flowing movement of your breath, and a softening of your mind. As you're ready from here, slowly start to lift your upper body up. Invite in movement that calls to you. Consider bringing your hands behind you, whether your feet are still in butterfly or your knees are up, and arching your back, taking a slight back bend. So this can be a nice counter pose. We were folding forward, maybe hunching, and we're going to think about opening up our upper body. Again, you can always, as you're ready, bring your feet hips width distance apart and drop in your knees through center. And then from here, making your way to your puddle pose on your back, on your belly, on your side, even in a comfortable seat. So puddle is an opportunity for us to embrace stillness, letting go of the work. We don't have to do anything. And so starting to find some joy in the not doing. It's also for a chance to let the energy move around in our body. If we've released energy after releasing the fascia, and we'll check back in with our breath. Where do you feel your breath move in your body? Where's the start? Where's the origin? And how does your breath feel? Wherever you're at, start to make your way on up to a comfortable seat. So as we move into our next shape, there's a couple of variations that we can take. So the first variation will be completely on your back, knees to the sky. You can always place something underneath your head if you'd like, or even you can do this shape. Should have had that a little bit more prepared. You can place your upper body on a pillow with the knees up to the sky. From here, taking one of your legs and drawing your foot toward the opposite glute. So your knee can open up out to the side. This is our first variation of a deer pose. That's really going to target our front hip flexor. And so resting here. Even if the knee doesn't come all the way down to the earth, that's okay. Place a block underneath your knee. That is going to help support you. So that's our first variation. Our second variation is a deer pose. And with deer pose, our second variation of deer pose, you'll I'll do it the other way. You'll bring one of your feet behind you and the other foot will bend in. So the bottom of the foot tucks into the thigh. Again, it can be glued. There can be some space. The idea is that your knee is open where this knee is a bit more bent. Be mindful of your knee here. So you can always place a block or a blanket underneath here, and also your ankle. This can be a very passive stretch, so if you're experiencing any ankle injuries, I would recommend not doing this. You can curl the toes under, or you can consider bringing it out. But be very careful here. From here, you can use your stack of pillows, even blocks. You can start to come back. So you may wish to use your blocks for your hands or your elbows as you lower down. at whatever level is going to feel good. Again, working to feel the stretch here. You can even create a ramp, one block for your head and one block in between your shoulder blades. And then leaning your upper body onto that. So take which variation is going to call to you, what's going to feel best in your body. I'm going to take the first variation of deer pose with my knees up and upper body resting onto the back. Feel free to take the one I just showed. We're going to be here for about 4 minutes on each side. Settling in here. So letting your hands rest where they would like. Slowing your breath. As you're ready, slowly moving on out of your shape. If you're in deer pose, if you're in the second variation of deer pose, come completely up. If you're on your back, bring both knees to the sky. And we'll just stack this next shape, this next side right on top. So for second variation of deer, bringing the other leg behind you, drawing your heel towards the opposite leg as you come in, bending it, or if you are on your back, taking the second leg, drawing your heel towards your glute, and allowing the leg to open. We'll be here for 4 minutes. From here, as you're ready, taking any final movements that you may need before coming into Savasana, your final resting pose. Your back on your belly. Maybe you move to legs up the wall, or even find a seated meditation. But letting this be a place of true rest, of true stillness. As you find your Savasana, taking a moment, just to pause, noticing if you can make yourself 5 to 10% more comfortable. As you settle in, Acknowledging your body as it has showed up today, not judging it, not thinking it should have done better. Just letting your body be right where it's at and taking this well-deserved rest. Unhinging your jaw, placing a slight gap in between your teeth, maybe even in your lips, as you let your tongue fall to the bottom row of teeth. Start to soften your body as muscle moves away from bone. Your eyes soften, your cheeks soften and release. Feeling that same release and softening pour down your entire body. Making sure that you extend that feeling to your fingertips and to your toes. You are here. Start to deepen your breath. Begin to invite in external sounds. And draw movement into your body, wiggling fingers and toes to start. And making your movements bigger, even rocking your head from side to side. Gently moving from this place of rest to a comfortable seat at the top of your mat. Pausing at the top of your mat. They're crisscross applesauce, legs extended out long, maybe knees up to the sky, or even moving onto a chair. Hands can rest in your lap, one on top of the other in Dhyana Mudra, thumbs pressing. Palms can face down on the knees for grounding, or up to receive energy, or closing your circuit with your heart by Anjali Mudra, hands in prayer, or hands over the heart, one on top of the other. We return and honor our sankalpa that was set at the beginning of our practice. We bow our heads in a moment of gratitude, thanking ourselves and acknowledging ourselves for making time for our mat, for this deeper portion of our yogic practice. We send gratitude to those who joined us tonight to create our virtual community. Be the positive change you wish to see in the world. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you so much for joining me this Friday, and really as many Fridays as you can, or even watching the videos. This is my last live Friday class for the next several months. It is just getting more challenging to be able to demonstrate the whole practice as my belly grows, as the baby gets bigger. So unfortunately, I'm very sad to do this, but this is my last live Friday class. I hope to be back sometime in March or April, and I hope you'll join me again then soon. If you need anything, do not hesitate to reach out, and I will have up on this channel by the end of the weekend a list of other teachers who you may want to practice with, who are just wonderful and fabulous. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your practice with me. Have a fabulous Friday and a great